5 towers, each unique and powerful, surrounded Ruwen as he sat cross-legged in the pulverized remains of the throne at the bottom of the Destruction Realm. A cracked shield with a reflective surface sat face down in his lap so he could avoid seeing his new face and body. Rami, in her human form, sat cross-legged in front of Ruwen as she broke the silence.
"What if Valquenriel comes back? Maybe we should move."
"There's no reason for Valquenriel to return. He thinks I'm dead." Ruwen glanced around at the towers and the empty island they occupied before continuing. "At least here nothing can sneak up on us." Ruwen refocused on his palms and studied the swirling patterns of black and white that constantly shifted his skin color across a spectrum of gray. The skin's surface refracted the light like a thin layer of oil covered it, but the Destruction Realm suppressed the color, muting it. He knew the rest of his body fared no better and recalled the terrible details. Now, over 7 feet tall, Ruwen's face had become narrower and longer, his features sharper. His light blue eyes remained, their color a shocking contrast to the black, gray, and white surrounding him. The ever-present frown remained. His black hair had turned dark purple near the ends, but retained its unruly and spiky look. He appeared foreign and unnatural, but also himself. Ruwen's real body had been sculpted to perfection with years of intense, obsessive step practice, giving him an athletic build and inherent strength. This body was lean, sacrificing bulk for agility and speed.
"What if something comes out of those towers again?"
Rami asked. "I'm pretty sure I killed everything when I cast Minor Prelude of Stillness. If anything survived, we would have already seen them." Rami stared at the silver band between Ruwen's bicep and shoulder. It glowed with an internal light, and dense runes covered the surface.
"Tell me what happened again, but this time slower,"
Rami said. "You can't read my memories yet."
"No, I can feel your mind, which is why our telepathy still works, but the structure of your brain has changed, and I don't know how to translate it yet."
"All my plans failed, and I knew it was only a matter of time before I became too weak to defend myself against Valquenriel."
"How did they all fail? You seemed truly confident that you could escape."
Ruwen frowned. "The Scarecrow aspect took on a life of its own and refused to leave this place. It thwarted every attempt I made."
"Why would it do that?"
"The 5 other aspects were constructed from the dead leaders of these towers. The Scarecrow was made from whoever the overall ruler of this place was, and it didn't want to leave again." Ruwen picked up a handful of dust, then let it fall slowly from his hand. "I ended up using that Havoc Sovereign's core to purposefully contaminate myself with destruction essence. I hoped a partially contaminated body would allow me to resonate enough with this realm to make my magic more effective, allowing me to escape. Everything was going fine until the core broke and—" Ruwen looked at the silver band below his right shoulder. With a sigh, he continued. "Then this thing appeared. The Havoc Sovereign had hidden it in his core. The power it contained dwarfed the core's power. I didn't react in time, and it converted me completely into destruction essence." "Not completely," Overlord said in Ruwen's mind. "Right," Ruwen said out loud. "Not everything. My mind remains safe, a combination of my mental strength and what we believe is creation essence. Which brings me to an important question. When I broke my brain in the spirit realm and you put my mind back together, was Io involved?" Rami hesitated, seemingly surprised by the question.
"Sift's talking dagger?"
"That's the one, and you ask dumb questions when you're hiding something."
"I do not."
"Are you hiding something?" Rami glared at Ruwen before sighing.
"Yes, Io helped. A lot, actually. But he made me promise not to mention his involvement. He said it was because of the pact, which made sense to me since elder weapons weren't supposed to interact with the deity's champion. Why is that important?"
"Unfortunately, too late to help, we discovered some details in my body that all seemed to point to Io's involvement. To make a long story short, I think Io is from the creation realm and used creation essence to bind the pieces of my mind together and, before that, used creation essence to help Uru attach my pathways to the dark and chaos meridians." Rami leaned forward.
"Are you serious?"
"Yeah, the destruction essence doesn't like the creation type, and since my mind is literally filled with it, it remained protected."
"Don't forget about the lights,"
Uruziel said. "Right, thanks." "When Valquenriel destroyed my body, which had mostly been consumed by destruction essence, my consciousness got trapped outside my mind. That's when I saw a constellation of lights that raced around before disappearing. I felt like I was floating on an ocean, and I sensed other things near me. On instinct, I gathered them up and, not knowing what else to do, I placed them in the same place the lights had disappeared.